Welcome, everybody, to the Mansfield Buzz. All right, everybody, welcome to the Mansfield Bus. It is Thursday. It is 2 p.m. good old Central Standard Time in the great state of Texas in Mansfield. And your hosts are Hurdy Burke and Jordan Huff, and our guest is R.C. Greene with Truly Nolen, and we'll be with him in just a few seconds. But the cool thing is, you would think when you look at Jordan's name, you're supposed to pronounce it Ho, but it's Huff. It's Huff.
Huff, like tough.
Everybody asks me that. They call it. Is that how do you pronounce that? Huff. So I'm gonna start putting that behind it. But anyhow, hey, so we are on YouTube, and the cool thing is, I think I put this in chat. Let me go pull it up. If you're chatting with us right now, please make sure you go to the thumb underneath the video on YouTube. Click the thumbs up. That helps the algorithm on YouTube. But better than that, go to my chat. If you're seeing this chat on the chat, if you're on YouTube, copy that and send it to 5 friends. We're now, Jordan, officially at 140 subscribers. We've gained about 5 or 6 this week, which is really good. And if you want to join with us and ask questions, we would love it. We have a lot of chatters on most of the shows. And if you want to ask some questions, because we're going to be doing something that's probably really important today on pest control, and a lot of people have a lot of questions. Don't be scared to ask, okay? Because this is a time to kind of find out some things, and we're going to have loaded questions for RC here in a few minutes. So Jordan, 140 subscribers. We're in that 1.7 thousand views per 28 days, and we're still in the 43, although we did break at one point last week. I took a hard look at it. We're around 52 watch time hours on the channel. And remember, it's a local channel, which is really good. So guys, make sure that you go to our channel, check it out. And we love having you on here. We're going to get to our sponsor in a few minutes, and we have what we call an icebreaker video that we're going to play. And that is leading us into our icebreaker section, which we're going to talk about our good old sponsor, Liberty Tax Defender. So we'll be right back. All right, everybody. Are you telling you're dealing with tired Hurdy today? Okay. Can you tell? Wow. Okay. So some things have been going on in the family. And so I haven't been getting tons of rest lately, but I'm here for the game because I love doing this. It's a good break. But we are Liberty Tax Defenders, your premier tax resolution firm. We work every day to help hardworking Americans keep more of their money out of the hands of overzealous bureaucrats. We help our clients solve problems with back taxes, unfiled tax returns, payroll, and trust fund issues. We also negotiate payment plans and offers and compromise that are favorable to our clients, as well as represent clients who are under audit before the IRS. In addition, we help clients navigate tax issues such as employee retention credit, as well as providing CFO consulting, tax preparation, accounting services. We have successfully helped our clients save over $2 million. I'm going to change that. I promise I'm going to change that. $2 million in assessed taxes and penalties. If you find yourself under audit, knowing back taxes, please do not hesitate to call us, 817-995-5008, or you visit our website at libertytaxdefenders.com. All right. The cool thing is, and I'm going to play a little 33-second video from them, and then we're going to let Jordan jump in with some icebreakers with RC, and we're going to get started on finding out all about pest control today.
I don't agree with the IRS's position. What are my options?
Well, you can tell them to pound sand, which so few people do this. Don't just agree. They're wrong so often. You have rights. You can appeal it. The appeal must be made within 30 days of the date that the IRS has made a determination. You file a formal notice of appeal and you present your case before appeals. And they consider how much is it going to cost the IRS to go to court. At the end of the day, what's another 12 to 18 months if you save yourself 50 grand in the long run, which is, I think that's being conservative.
All right, everybody. So, Jordan, I try to tell everybody, try to explain Brad and Wade's background, right? And now that Fred's involved with them. But if you've ever been to Liberty Tax Defenders and you want to make sure you are dealing with some cool people, go look at their resumes and see the education level they're at. But not only that, Brad, and you'll probably want to know this, RC, he wrote a lot of the code for the IRS. So he knows the in-between stuff, and he's really good at what they do. So guys, go check out Liberty Tax Defenders. We're super excited to have them as a sponsor. And Jordan, with that, let's jump into RC with some icebreakers and get into our pest control talk today and have some fun.
Yes. I'm so excited. I love these shows because I learned so much. Honestly, I don't know a lot about bugs, so I think I'm going to be a bug expert after this. But first, let's talk some icebreakers, right? You got a little bit to tell us about the Army, huh?
Yeah, I actually was in the United States Army. I joined August of 2001. All the great times to join. I was stationed in. I was with First ID, First Infantry Division, out of Germany. My duty station, I guess, was Schweikert, Germany. So it's nice for a young 18, 19-year-old kid out of Mountain, Tennessee to move out to Germany and experience that. So it was a good little culture change for me and give me a little bit of broad-eyed view of how things are different all around.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
And I spent about 5 years in the Army.
And was that 2001 joining as a result of 9/11?
No, I joined before 9/11.
Okay, gotcha.
I joined a month. Okay. I joined a month before 9/11. I actually I joined for school money. I got accepted to Tennessee Tech, but couldn't afford it. And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna join the military." I went down to Knoxville and joined. And I said, "Hey, what pays the most school money for the Army?" They're like, "Oh, be a cook." I'm like, "I can't do that. Like, I want to do something little." They're like, "All right, infantry. Here you go. You only gotta have a 31, even though I had a 92 score. I picked infantry because it paid me an extra 50 grand for college."
Awesome.
And then I go to Fort Benning, Georgia, in August 2001, and then 9/11 happened the next month later. And then I was at infantry school for basic training, and then 9/11 happened. So every night you go to bed, they would just tell you that you're going to war, so you leave. You're like, no.
Yeah,
18-year-old kid.
How was that? Like with all your group, like you guys are just going in, and then something big happens.
You're young. You're in that mentality of I don't know. I joined thinking I was going to do 3 easy years, get some school money, get out. I was like, I want to join infantry because it seemed like if I did some time in the military, I want to do something a little more difficult than just sit at a desk. And they show you a cool video too. I mean, people running out back with Bradley throwing smoke grenades. You're like, oh, that's what I want to do.
I love it.
It's hard to remember. I mean, not really fear, I guess. It's just more real. Like, all right, this. I really got to be serious about this. Like, this is And here's a crazy thing. When I got out of basic, I went home for 30 days or in infantry school, and so I landed in Germany. The first thing they told me when I got the car was like, "Hey, we're deploying in 2 months." And I was like, "Oh no!" Afghanistan just kicked off, so I came off of that, and I went to Kosovo, my first deployment. I did do a second tour, a deployment in Iraq in 2004. But yeah, my first deployment was Kosovo, and that was there's their whole ethnic cleansing over there, that a NATO mission, so that wasn't bad. Okay. Yeah, it's something different when you're not expecting it, but I don't know. You get in a mind frame with that group of people. It just you kind of get all on the same page.
Yeah,
you should grow up fast, I guess.
Yeah, gotcha. Just quite a unique experience to go through it and have such a world-defining event happen right as you're like making a life-changing decision. Like back to back. It's like whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was It was a very hard left turn that I was expecting for it to be.
So Heather Manis in our group said, tell you, thanks for your service, and
Oh.
I know she has part of military family, so she
Yeah.
appreciates that. So that's good. But the funny thing, Jordan's getting ready to lead you to your second icebreaker, which is in a drought, just kind of about a 90-degree turn, 180-degree turn from the original question. What do you think, Jordan?
I think so.
Me too.
So then, fast forward a little bit, we got a bartender.
Yeah, I kind of when I got out, I didn't go back to Tennessee. I stayed here in Texas because I got sent to San Antonio right before I got out, and I kind of just migrated up here to DFW. I went to school UTA, or actually what I originally started school for was electrical engineering, and then I kind of just met someone that worked in the bar industry, and then they were like, "Hey, you can come work here for a little bit on the weekends." So I kind of just started doing that, and I kind of just fell into that for like 10 years. I kind of different lifestyle. It's nice though. I mean, good people, but if you like nights, you like 5, you know, and if you're good with customer service, I mean, that's the main thing. It's customer service. I think it's what helped me lead in this job here too. Is just customer service.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
But
favorite? What was your
like being
favorite?
able to see the sun, right?
Yeah, you can see the sun on this job.
Yeah, time to
Yeah,
clean up and get down the road. Everybody's getting up and going to work. So,
yeah.
what
Yeah.
was your favorite drink you like to make?
Ooh,
Or does it matter?
I worked at I worked at a speed bar. It wasn't like a.
Oh, okay, all right. So you're handing out
like
handing out bottles of. Okay, got it.
Yeah, you're like 5, 6 people deep. It was. I mean, so someone would come up and be like, "Hey, can I have a Manhattan?" You're like, "Man, this is not that kind of place." I mean, I can make you one, but
take the beer and shut up and go in the corner. Okay.
I mean, it's not it wasn't a specialty cocktail bar. It was 20,000 square feet nightclub that was just jam packed full of people. So it was mostly
funny
stuff on the rocks or just a vodka tonic, something like that. Quick, it's more just pumping them out and get them going.
Cool.
So,
all right.
That's funny. And you said a couple of things that caught my attention. Like one of them is like I went to UTA for electrical engineering. That was when I first went to school. I thought I wanted to be an engineer, and then I decided to pick the hardest engineer there was. I don't know why. And so that's funny. What was your take on it?
I mean, I did 3 years there too. So I mean, I did quite a bit. I got up like 100 credit hours. I originally did electrician work one time in Kentucky, and they always told me like, "Hey, if you want to make good money at this, I like doing electrician work. Is to become the people that plan it." And that's what I thought was electrical engineer route was. But I mean, UTA is more like microprocessors and coding and all this stuff. And that was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be, the guy that would do the blueprints for like a factory with they need like 3-phase and like that. And the farther I got into it, I was like, this is not what I want. Plus, it's super. It's difficult. Like
it's so hard. It's so hard.
I mean,
it's probably the hardest one. It's just equations. Like I thought I was going to build something. I'm like, oh no, that's not until your PhD. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
it's all math.
Yeah,
linear algebra. Yeah, Cal 1, Cal 2, Cal 3. I mean, all of that stuff. And I mean, look at me. I got all that on my belt, and here I am doing. But I enjoy this more. I mean, I enjoy being outside more than anything. But yeah, it is. I thought the path I was going was for like construction, electrical was what it was. But it was, I mean, you know how it is. It was a lot of coding. It was a lot of microprocessors, all this, it's a lot of labs. It was just not what I mean, I love UTA. I mean, I had a good time there. It just wasn't what I wanted to do at the end of the day.
Hey, so Jordan, before you ask him the first question, as part of this icebreaker, I want him to reach behind him and get our buddy and show off our buddy here.
So we do career days, and since we have to do career days, we're pest control. We don't have a lot of let's see if I can get her out. We don't have a lot of visuals besides tools, so we bring a nice little, because we do like elementary schools. I don't know if she's gonna come out. We do a nice little tarantula.
All right, there you go.
They don't have to spread her legs. I mean, not spread her legs.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Super fast.
Yeah,
it's a curly hair tarantula. We do have tarantulas here in Texas, but they're not as big as this one. We have a Texas tan tarantula here that you'll see every once in a while too.
Cool. I love it.
Kids
So
love
that-
it, so we bring it with us.
That's really cool. That's a it's a good segue too, because you're bartending and then you migrated onto pest control, and that's an interesting step. So I'm curious as we go, because I really want to ask you about this story of Truly Nolen, but I want to know how you found them and how this like journey began.
So I was able to, when I bartended, I was able to stay home with my daughter because my military stuff in the background. I ended up getting injured in the military, so I ended up getting out and getting a like benefits from that. So they would stay home for like 4 years with her. But then when she started pre-K, I was like, what am I going to do? I need to find something during the day. I interviewed for a couple different companies, but this one came across my radar. I interviewed here. I got a couple offers at other places, but this one spoke to me because they told me that they're a family-owned company, that they value family time. A lot of people were telling me like, "Oh, we can get you this much money. You're going to work like 60 hours a week." That's not what I wanted. This company's like, "You got stuff for your daughter. We're going to make sure you get there," and they've always stood behind that. They've always, anything that happens at my daughter's school, I can go to stuff like that. So I was like, I'll give it a go. And I just kind of just took to it. Like I started here doing services and now I do inspections. So it just, they've always had my back when it comes to my family time. And that's what really is made me want to stay with them. And plus and it's a good company. That's what and I don't feel like they stand by what they say. That's what I like about it. So that's why I've been here this long.
Yeah, it's a rare thing to find, and those are gems that are, worth highlighting for sure.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit of the story about Truly Nolen?
So Truly Nolen, like I said, is a family-owned company. We've been around since 1936, actually.
Okay.
Truly Nolen is actually the person, the founder of the company. His dad started a pest control company in Miami, Florida, in 1936. Truly branched off and started his own pest control company in 1955 in Tucson, Arizona, and that's where we get the Truly Nolen name. In the 60s, the West and the East merged and became one company. So that's why we started in 1936. And then we have been in DFW since the 70s. And we've been here. I mean, people probably seen our iconic, mouse cars. Those started coming around in the 60s. We had the Volkswagen Beetles with the ears and the tail. But since 2019, they quit making Volkswagens. So now we're trying to figure out what other car fits our our image that way it does. And we even had at one time a stretch limo of a Volkswagen mouse car.
Wow.
We used to do it there at Mansfield. We used to take it for the pickle parade, take it through there. We
Right.
actually had more problems here lately. We actually auctioned it off last year.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But yeah, so we Truly passed away a couple years ago. His daughter now, Scarlett, runs our company. So we are still family owned. And it's still a small company. Like my daughter has met her kids. Like that's how, I mean, we're a big company. We're like 7 different states, but it's still that smallness that people care about each other, We can still do the same stuff that other bigger companies can do, but yet still get customer service like a mom and pop kind of thing is what it is. So,
Wow.
and we like being a family owned company, and everybody feels like they're part of the family here. So it's been good.
That's really cool. I love that. I love that connection, and just being able to hang out with everybody and just recognize. Like, I feel like whenever you like the owners and everybody working knows each other's families, like that somehow translates to the experience people have on the outside.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I couldn't really put my finger how it is, but you could always tell. Like, it feels much more personal.
Oh, it's nice too because we don't answer to like shareholders. You know what I'm saying? We're not publicly traded as a company. I answer to one person, and she owns a company, and her main goal is customer satisfaction.
Mhm.
We that's what we want to see. We want to make sure our customers are happy. Sometimes we end up losing money on it, but they want to make sure that our customers are taken care of at the end of the day. And I think that's what makes us stand alone from some other companies. They just want to pump up numbers, but then you might not be able to get on the phone. You call us, you're going to talk to somebody. It might not be here at our office, but it'll be at our call center in Arizona. You're going to at least talk to somebody. and we'll figure out the right person to take care of your problem, kind of stuff.
Cool.
And I love that it's in Arizona, so you'll actually get somebody who speaks English.
Yeah, that could be difficult. At least you get someone not an automated service either, too.
Yeah.
So
I like how you said customer satisfaction. Is that would you call like one of their core values that is on?
That is one of our core values. We have actually 12 core values, and on the back of our business cards it has them all listed. One of them. I mean, the number one is for us is the golden rule. I mean, doing all that you went down there. They always, when we train people here, we say treat people like this is your grandma's house. Like, how would you do your grandma? Every customer, you want to make sure they're taken care of. Our core value is, we have a servant heart is one of ours too. We're gonna make sure we take care of people. And then it's giving back to the community is another way we like to do too. Be humble. I mean, we just have a lot of just customer based stuff that we want to do to make sure we're taking care of people. So now, I mean, anybody that's been in any kind of service industry, sometimes it's hard. You come across some tough customers, but you just got to figure out deep down, people just want to be taken care of. They want to be heard. Some people might just be angry because of something that happened, but blowing them off and being rude doesn't get no anywhere. It's just you got to figure out what the problem is and just how to fix it. Now I think it's what sets us apart because I got customers that still call me that I might have not talked to about 2 years ago. And now they got a problem with something. They call me and I'm like, all right, now it's on me to take care of it, And that's because they have that same person they can still fall back onto that they originally seen. So I might not be the one doing their services, but it might be now that they have a tech with something. Maybe he might have had an off day and something happened, but at least they can fall back and call back on me and I can try to straighten it out for them. So
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's a really big one too. I'm glad you mentioned that because we're all going to make mistakes at some point. Things happen. You're on an off day. You might have family issues or health issues. I mean, God knows what could come up, right? But it's about how you make it up. And that, to me, that's such a much bigger indicator of like what a person and a company are is whenever something happens and then what do you do to rectify that? Because then that could honestly just earn you a lifetime customer.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. We have people from since the 90s have been, pest control. And I mean, and we know pest control, it's either a must or it's a luxury, you know what I'm saying, that you want to have it. Like you must have it if you have something you want to get rid of, or people just have it because they just don't want to deal with stuff,
Right.
So you gotta, treat people how, they're paying us to take care of them. That's the way it is. We're not the opposite way around, so you gotta treat them with respect and and show them we're going to be there and do what they're looking for services. So we like to long time customers. Trust me, we always try to take care of them. They know us. So they know that they call us, we're going to come take care of the problem. So it's nice to have those kind of people.
Yeah, it's really cool. And what would you say are some of the services you guys offer?
So we offer the regular quarterly pet, or for residential pest control, which covers your wasp, your ants, your fire ants, carpenter ants, fleas, ticks. That's your general pest control. Around your house, anything that might be coming in you don't want in, spiders. And then we also offer termite control. Termites aren't seen really; they're in the ground. So that's a whole different beast. And a lot of most insurance don't cover termite damage, so that's one of those things that needs to be preventative. We also offer rodent. Rodent is a big one here. Rats, mice, raccoons, squirrels, possums, skunks. Skunks that people get skunks that want to dig under the foundation. They don't like that in their backyard, especially because your dogs get sprayed. They come back in the house.
Oh God!
We also offer
tomato juice.
What's that?
Bust out the can of tomatoes.
That's my dog got sprayed one time, ran in the house and rubbed himself against when they used to have all the microfiber couches.
Oh no!
Out of that. Oh yeah. I had a buddy. That's why I'm still bartending. He's like, I'll take it. He didn't care. He's like, I'll take that couch.
I'll take that.
It's like I can clean it. I'm like, well, come pick it up. It's yours. So yeah, skunks. We'll do skunks too. Armadillos are pretty bad too. People go outside and they're like, "Why's my flower bed all these little bitty holes?" Because they like soft areas. They'll sit there at night while you're sleeping, just dig little bitty holes. They sit on the rear end and just dig away.
Yeah.
We do armadillos, stuff like that. We live trap and we take to another location and drop it off.
That's cool.
We also do insulation too for rodents. Like raccoon will get in your attic, and they're very clean animals. They'll use the area for a latrine area, so they'll pee and poop in one area. But like a rat will run.
That's thoughtful of them.
Yeah, but the problem is that it's soiled at one spot. You start getting like water stains on your ceilings like that. So you got to get the insulation out of there because it's soiled. But then like a rodent, like a rat, will run and they can't control their bladder. They just go all the time. So that's they tunnel and poop everywhere. So that you got to suck all that out and blow back in. So we do insulation also too, and we use it's called TAP. It's thermoacoustic pest control insulation. It's a premium insulation, and it's mixed with pretty much boric acid too, and it keeps out carpenter ants and termites and all that stuff out of it too.
That's cool.
Draws them out.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's like next. Like, yeah, it goes to show the things that you don't know, right? Like, I didn't even realize there were so many pests.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't realize until you have them. You don't realize what it takes to get them out either. Until you really got to get after it. Yeah.
Here's a way to think about that, Jordan. Imagine that there was no pest control in the world. What it would be like? You'd be overrun.
Yeah.
Literally. That they would dominate you. So that's why you have pest control.
Yeah, like I said before, bed bugs are one of those things that were almost completely eradicated in the United States by the early 90s. And then what came along was easy international travel, and then it started blowing back up in the 2000s here. People started getting it easier to travel to Eastern Europe and all that stuff, and then it started getting bad in like New York, Chicago, Atlanta, and now it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
It seems to be spreading more and more.
Yeah.
I'll get calls for bed bugs. I'll get 5 a week sometimes, and I'll wait like 2-3 months, and I'll get like 10 again. It's just it's crazy how it just comes around.
Now, on one of those services, just so I can throw my 2 cents in here, we're going into March. This is not going to be a humid day tomorrow by any means, but usually this month in April is pretty freaking humid, and this is when you see something called termite swarms. Those subterraneans you don't see in the ground do swarm to mate before they die, and you may see one all of a sudden what looks like flying ants inside your house. You may see a ton of them all of a sudden flying out of your roof, somewhere like that. So tell us a little bit about these termite swarms, what people need to look for.
Yeah, so termite swarms. Okay, so a little backstory. So no, termites swarm only once a year.
Right.
So when a termite swarms is because the colony has gotten so big, it's kind of like being in a town and they get so full, you're like, all right, some of y'all got to be kicked out of the suburbs. So what they do is they'll turn the workers into swarmers. But it takes 1 to 3 years for a colony to get that big. So if they swarm in your house, that means that colony's already been there for at least a year, up to 3 years. Right. And that, the average amount of cost of damage a termite does before you find out that you have them is about $8,000.
Yep.
Before you figure out you have them. But what they do is they'll pack them up high, and they swarm up high because they build a mud tube up, and then they do what they call a swarm castle. You might see something on your wall that looks like a penny-sized thing of mud. You wipe it away, there's a hole there, but the next day it's bigger, and then all of a sudden it busts open, and then you'll have like 1,000 swarmers in your house. The good news is they don't sting, they don't bite, they don't do anything to you. It's just more horror film kind of thing. They don't fly that good. They just kind of land everywhere on you.
Yeah, exactly.
They're trying to make a new colony somewhere.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of times people will just be like, "Oh, it happens once a year. It's not that big of a deal. I just vacuum them up and keep going." The problem is they don't realize those termites are in your wall, eating your house apart. So they just. But the good news, like I said, they don't bite, they don't sting, but you need to get it treated to get taken care of because you don't know how bad they are in that wall.
That's
so
right.
So that's in swarm season is April, May, June for us here in North Texas, and it has to be like humidity has to be at a certain point. temperature has to be at a certain point, and then they explode out.
Right.
And I can tell usually to the day that all three factors hit because I'll get 30 phone calls saying, "Hey, we got these flying ants." We're like, "No, those are termites," and you can tell exactly what day. So remember last year on like a Sunday after church, everybody was calling and saying that, and it was the same thing in the same
Right.
area. It's a swarm, yeah.
Amazing.
They'll drop their wings and they're not, like I said, they're not going to bite, they're not going to sting, but they are trying to make another colony somewhere. And then if you see them, it's best to get someone out to come look to see what the best process of getting rid of them is and protect the house.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Cool.
So if they're thinking, so somebody's thinking they're seeing flying ants, just better double check because
Here's the thing: fire ant swarm, also carpenter ant swarm, rover ant swarm. There's different kinds of ants, and the way you can tell a termite, I mean, for like an average person, if you look at it and it has a singular body, it's a termite. Even wings. If they all have 4 wings, but if 2 of the back wings are shorter than the top wings, and you can see 3 different segment body parts on it, it's an ant.
It's an ant.
It's an ant. A termite is a singular body insect with the wings are all equal length. Is how it's the easiest way to tell. For you, if you just look at it, like, oh, that's a termite.
Okay. Wow. So for homeowners that are listening to this and they're probably terrified, what can they do about it? Now because now we're thinking is like, crap, I could have like a bazillion different things going on in my house. Like, what can I do?
Yeah. Well, for pest control, let's start with there. For pest control for a service, what you can do is a quarterly service. I mean, and for us, we do what we call the 4 seasons, because you never want to treat the insects you have in the fall is not the same pressure you have in the spring or in the summer. You have different seasons. Like in the spring, we do a lot of growth inhibitors, which is like birth control for ants. Keeps them from exploding the population. In the summer, we use a material that reflects the sun, the way it lasts longer. But we always use a different material each season because homeowners will go down there and buy their own stuff, which is always good. But if you keep just using the same material over and over again, they start building up a tolerance towards it. So we mix it up each season. So that's what having a professional come out and take care of it does. So pest control, we come out every 90 days, and that's how we do our service. It depends on the season what we do for that service. And then for termite, it's always good because like they say here in Texas, there's 2 kinds of homes. One's with termites or one's going to get termites. It's bound to happen if you don't have some kind of.
Agreed.
It's going to happen. I mean, my house when I bought it had termites. I had to treat it. It's one of those things. They're looking for a thermal shadow in your house. A thermal shadow is where like a tree falls and the sun's hitting the ground. Termites are in the ground. When they don't feel that sun beating on the ground, they come up to look to see what it is. Oh, it's a tree or it's something there. Well, your foundation of your house makes a huge thermal shadow. So they find a crack in it and there's moisture there. All they need is an entry, moisture, and a food source. And the food source is the lumber in your walls. Or the paper on your drywall. So termite, we do a service. We can do a liquid job, which is trench and treat, where you dig a trench around the house, around the foundation to the footer, you inject, and then that's good for 7 to 10 years. Only downside to that nowadays is if you have any foundation issues, like the piers put in, when you move that dirt out, you move that material out, so you open that spot back up. So you got to have it reshot. But nowadays, most people are switching to the newer bait. Bait is put around the house, and you can check that every year. If you got to do something like plant something, you pull it out, and then put it back in the ground afterwards. Is how we do termite stuff too.
So, do you guys work with home builders when they're first building a home? Do you have contracts where you go out and pre-treat before they put the fab in around all the bath traps and all the plumbing to give it a little extra oomph at the front end?
Yeah. Building code, you do have to have a pre-treat done. That's why most people have a brand new home. If somebody calls me, like, their house was just built this year, I'll tell them, hey, you probably have a warranty about 5 years. Usually it's about a 5-year warranty on a pre-treat. We don't do it with these bigger home builders. We usually do it for customers that we already have. We don't have contracts with the bigger home builders, but someone that wants to build their own house and they already been customers of ours, we'll go out and do theirs. I did some commercial properties. They'll ask for bids from other companies. We'll go out and pre-treat. That's a lot of material you put out for that.
Yeah.
They spray the ground down, and after the thing's built, you got to put in a barrier around that after it's built too. So we do that too.
Good. Yay. Let me get back to my questions for Jordan. There you go. I was trying to get the comment over there before you need to grab a question. So we're doing some multitasking, RC, back here beyond.
You're good.
In the studio.
Yes,
good call. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good to know.
Sandra wants to talk chat next week, so I think we've skirted here a little bit.
It's spring break.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you too. You guys also have an inspection, right?
Yes. And the good thing about us, we do free inspections. So if you just feel like you might have an issue, we'll come out and look at it and talk to you about it. And we're not here to try to sell you something you don't need. If it's something, like I had a customer today call me today. They live in an apartment. They have some ants coming in. I'm like, hey, does your apartment complex have pest control? They should already have it. But they're not taking care of what they want. So I told her, like, hey, just talk to them first, make sure, it's something. I don't want to see you pay for something you don't need that's already taken care of. But for our inspection, we do rodent, termite, and just regular pest control inspections. We come out, we look around, and I encourage a homeowner to walk with me. I can show them exactly what we're looking at, what I'm showing them, that way they know. Because it's hard to go back into a house and say, hey, this is what I seen. And they're like, well, where is that at? So it's better if they walk with me. I'm like, hey, like a rodent inspection, I'm looking for places that they can get into your house. You got to think. A pinky, a mouse can get into, a size hole, a thumb, a rat can get. They got cartilage bones. A thumb, a big old rat can squeeze its body through that one too.
Oh my God.
So I'll walk around a homeowner and show them like the stuff that we would seal up. That's how we do our rodent. You gotta seal it all up and then trap what's inside. That way it what I call closing the front door. If you leave it open and just try to trap, you'll trap all day long because it's not gonna fix the hole that's there, and you're just gonna keep trapping other rats that smell the one going through there. So during our inspection, we're identifying entry points for rats, bugs, anything like that. For like a termite inspection, we're looking for any kind of termite evidence, like mud tubes, pop marks on the drywall, because termites are very they stay hidden until they show themselves. You gotta look for spider veins behind the drywall, pop marks, like little bitty holes all everywhere. On the outside, we're looking for moisture areas, maybe leaking spigot. So that bring termites to let people know about that. So during our inspections, like I said, we do attic inspections under the house. We do all that. We'll come out for free, take a look, and just let you know exactly what's going on and what will work for you and what might not work for you. Because some stuff that might not be what you're looking for too. So,
from a customer's point of view, like what are some things that we should be looking for, or maybe some things that you can point out as like, hey, if you notice this, then you might want to look into it.
Yeah. So I always ask people, all right, let's start with rodent. People be like, oh, I see them on the outside. People call us like, hey, I seen a rat or a mouse outside. Then I always ask, well, have you ever heard anything running? Like not running, but scratching or gnawing at night? Because that's another thing too. People's like, oh, I hear something, but it's during the day. Usually it's a squirrel. If you hear it at night, because it's usually a rat because it's nocturnal. Right. For termite, I always ask people, have they ever noticed anything like dirt in a wall? They wipe it away and the dirt comes back. Or carpenter ants is a good one. You'll get it look like sawdust in your window. It's called frass. It look like sawdust and dirt, or maybe some insect parts in there, right? You wipe it away, and then a week later, it's all built back up again. Yep. That's carpenter ants. They'll build a satellite colony around your window frame, and it's them kicking out that they're trash. What they're kicking out is what it is. Yep. But they're a wood destroying insect too. But that's covered under our regular pest control. Some other places like to charge extra for that. We don't. It's covered under our just general pest control for us. But that's kind of stuff a homeowner. That's some of the questions I'll ask him right off the bat. Like, hey, have you ever noticed anything like this or this? Or show me something that you might think is out of the ordinary. And then that's usually how I find it the quickest. Like, can I just show you something? Probably nothing. But kind of show you something. I'm like, yeah. And that's I'm like, oh, that's termites or that's carpenter ants or something like that is how I find it.
And I would say the fire ant mounds near air conditioning units, near the weep holes, near, built up in the side of the foundation is a big deal.
Underneath the worst is fire ant mounds that push up under the garden tub. They'll
Right.
come up from the bat trap. Those are big
Yep.
garden tubs with the jets on it. In the
Yep.
winter, those fire ants like to push under the foundation because it's warmer. But then you got that bath trap that cut out for the plumbing. They come up under that and they build a big old mound under that tub.
Yeah.
You'll see 1 or 2 fire ants in your bathroom. Then all of a sudden you open that up and there's a big old mound inside there. We usually come in and vacuum that out and treat it and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
they're pesky.
yeah.
That's really interesting. That's wild.
Yeah.
So while we have you here, it's always fun when you have the expert. I wanted to ask you about like some of the new developments in technology and with all the space, because I know you said it earlier with termites. You kind of create the perimeter, but now there's traps. And earlier before the show, we were talking about some other things that you could do as well, like putting in the walls. So can you talk us through a little bit of the technology and all the things?
So we try to stay ahead. I mean, it's a growing space. It's changing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have a Truly University out in Arizona. We have not a warehouse, but it has a house inside there that we built, and we introduced new materials. So anytime something new comes on the market, we try to test it to see how it works for us, what it works good for before we put it into our seasonal thing. A couple years ago, a good case is stuff called Samari. It's a nice thing. It's for ant control mostly, but they said it worked really good in the Caribbean for Caribbean ants and all the crazy ants, stuff like that. So we have a big issue down in Houston and the coast areas with these. But we didn't know how good it was going to work, so we tested it and we ended up rolling it out. Now it's in our spring for all our branches now. It has no warning label on it. Like most stuff has caution, warning, danger on it. This one has none. They say it's safe around people, pets, everything like that. But it works really well. Top of my head, I want to say within 48 hours, you can knock out a fire ant mound all the way down to the tunnels, all the way down. Every couple of hours, it knocks out a quarter of it. And what it is that you treat them with that. They take it down there and they spread along the colony, because like a fire ant mound, people want to sprinkle that stuff on top. What happens is a couple days later, it's like 5 feet away. There's a whole mound built back up, right? Because those tunnels, the reason you see fire ant mounds, you won't see them until it rains, and also they pop up because they're all on the ground. And then when it rains, it's saturated. They build the mounds and get away from the water. The good thing like Samari that we tested was they take it back down in the tunnels and they pass along each other and kills the whole colony off. So it's not an instant kill, but within like a couple of days, they're completely gone.
Good.
That's awesome. And how?
We're always testing new products to make sure. Same thing with mosquitoes. We used Into Care. It came out of the Netherlands. We tried it out for a while before we started using it with customers. We're always testing new products to see if we can use it and if it fits our brand for how we do pest control.
We had a question from Patty asking about the sprays and how safe are they for pets? Because for her, like the dogs sometimes eat the grass around the house.
Yes. Yes. All our stuff is safe for pets. Once it dries. Like Samari is fine, but it's wet. They say people can actually drink it. It's fine, but I'm not trying it. So, but that was one of the big selling points when they come talking about it. But yes, we do use stuff that's safer for dogs and all that stuff. Nothing we're going to use is going to be potent towards them. Sometimes if we have dogs that do like to root around the grass, we won't use certain corn-based baits because they smell that corn, because the corn's in dog food. They suck it up and they want to sniff it out. It's not really going to hurt them that bad. They'll try to sniff it all out of the yard because they think it's food. So we don't use like Niban around dogs like that. But we do. It is a greener. We do use greener products, especially on the inside too. But yeah, for the yard, we always tell homeowners when we come to treat to keep the dogs inside until the yard's dry. Is what it is. And once it's dry, it's fine. So the materials adhere to the stuff.
RC, there's another ant that drives people crazy, and I just did a giveaway of what it's called. There's the pharaoh ant and the crazy ant, and
yes,
they're very difficult. Correct?
Yes, that's why we start using Samar, because those ants are very tolerant to normal spray. So that's where that Samari came in that we started using it for to help get rid of those too. Yeah.
Yeah, and you might bait their trail or something like that too.
Yeah, that's why I said that Samari comes in because they take it back with them too. They
Right.
don't kill them instantly, so they take it back where they're coming from and spread along each other,
Good.
and then get rid of them within a couple of days. So yeah,
Super.
That's sneaky.
Hey, good answer to that.
So, what would you say are some of the most like the more common pests you guys deal with? Because you're in the area, so you can tell all of us just sort of like what is the most common things to deal with. Because I feel like some of them are not as people might not be aware that it's as common as it is.
I mean, what people don't. I mean, everybody thinks for some reason I don't know why they think it. Or rats are like just New York City. They don't realize that rats are everywhere. Like, I don't really just. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't think I have rats. I have squirrels. I never seen a rat here because they're at nighttime. That's one of the ones that a lot of people are like, I think it's just squirrels in my attic. I'm like, no, when I get out, I'm like, no, it's rats. It's roof rats.
That's right.
We have two different kinds of rats here. We have a roof rat and a Norway rat, which is like a ground rat.
Right.
Roof rats climb like squirrels. You don't see them a lot. They eat off bird feeders at night. People are like, oh, my bird feeder's all empty in the morning. It's because rats are eating on it. You shine a flashlight on that at 8 o'clock at night, it's probably got 15 rats and they're eating on it. So on that bird feeder. And
wow. And that's a roof rat.
It's a roof rat. They're gray with a white belly. Yes, they will. I had a lady customer. She said that she paid a company to light her trees up, the upward lighting on her trees in her backyard. She told me she wished she never did that because she had bird feeders out there. And she said it looked like 50 rats out there just eating on stuff. But the problem is, once they start getting that taste of that bird food, bird seed, then they find it in your garage, they're coming for it. Then they want to go find the source and eat on it. Then they start coming to your house.
Right.
So,
oh wow,
it's so rats is one that people don't realize, or they'll get in any house. They live in the trees. They live under, they'll climb your house. They can't jump as far as a squirrel. They only can do about a foot from the branch of the house, but they can climb the side of your house like Spider-Man. I mean, they can climb like crazy.
They are good at what they do.
What's another pest that we have right there?
Well, I'll throw some at you, and we hadn't talked about it. When people store stuff in garages, they should be really careful of brown lacus and black widows because people get bit by those, and a lot of times you don't know it till you start getting a hole in your body, and you gotta go to the doctor. So I would say your garage areas, places you don't frequent, closets, clothes, right? Be careful of those. So.
And a lot of people think that we have a lot of wolf spiders here too. Wolf spiders,
they're good guys.
They're good, but I mean they do freak you out. I mean they get.
But when they
good size
grow up and have babies, and you see thousands of them.
Yeah. So wolf spiders. But I mean our side kind of stuff at least keeps them pushed on the outside. We're Texas. We got water bugs. A lot of people think that they're American roaches, what they're called. But everybody calls them water bug. Those are very common. They sneak in from under your door jams, under your garage doors like that. That's how they get in. They're just very common. So,
yeah. What about bed bugs? I feel like that's one that people don't talk about. But
way to go, Jordan! You didn't. The audience is getting ready to jump on here. Thank you for that.
So, bed bugs are, like I said, a lot of people have a misconception that bed bugs is like a filth, dirty thing, but it's not. They are a hitchhiker. They are just an opportunist. And anybody can get them at any time. It's kind of I never thought about it when I started working in this industry, but I mean, movie theater, you can get it in an Uber, you can get it anywhere, and all it takes is a female that's feeding. She can lay eggs, and then that's all it takes, and you'll start getting them at your house. It's not a filth thing. It's hard to get rid of. So I mean, a lot of people want to try to do it themselves, which I don't blame them. But then usually the time I get a call is when it's out of control. They're in every room. They're behind the pictures on the wall, stuff like that. So the best thing to do is if you get them at the beginning, it's easier and it's cheaper. Call someone as soon as you see them. But like I said, you can get them from. It's not a cleanliness thing. There's two different ways to take care of them. There's a liquid way, the way we do, or there's also a heat treatment way, which some other companies do. They're just they're very tough. But the good thing is you don't have to throw all your furniture out. That's what most people. That's the first thing people want to do is throw all their furniture out. Is
Yeah.
this? Oh, we get rid of it. We get rid of the bed bugs. Problem is, they go under your baseboards. They go behind your wall plates. They go in your bathroom because the first place people go in the morning is the bathroom usually, and the bed bugs drop off there, and then they'll be up under the baseboards. So you throw all your old furniture out, bring new furniture in, and then you might have knocked out half the population or more than that, but get about a month or two, and it's going to be right back where it was. And now all that new stuff you paid for is infested in it too. So it's best to get it treated. And if you want to get new furniture, that's on you. But you can always get it treated and get taken care of. So bed
And
bugs is
what are some of the signs that we can look for to know that?
bed bugs. Yes. Well, here's the crazy thing. Not everybody. It's like a mosquito bite. Not everybody's allergic to bed bug bites. I've had customers where the husband swore up and down they had no issues, but the wife's like, I got all these bite marks everywhere. Come to find out on the husband's side, where there's way more bed bugs. He was probably getting eaten up, but it just doesn't bother him. It's like a mosquito bite. Some people are allergic to the bites, some people are not. But bites, blood stains in your sheets. When you go to change your sheets and you see like a little blood stain here and one over there, you think, oh, maybe I'll just scratch my leg and I scratched a mosquito and it opened up or something like that. It's usually when you roll over, you squish them. There's a thing on if you see on your corners of your mattress, the little black specks, that's called blood meal. That's where the people will spit out for the eggs. It's that's another sign, or just even seen them. Like if you see one, that means there's way more than one. And then if they're not clear and they're brownish, that means they've been feeding too. And then who would they feed on is a host, and we are the host. So that's what it is. So it's just that's one that's hard. It's a taboo, I guess, among people that want to talk about, but it's out there. Like you just don't realize they're out there.
And let's get real with it. So you get that. I mean, I would imagine you're spotting stuff like that. It's embarrassing because of the whole misconception. How realistic is it that you can get rid of it on your own?
No.
I've seen it done. You gotta have some grit, some determination. Depending on how early you caught it, you know what I mean? If you dealt them before you got rid of them, then probably good. But I mean, people want to use spray bleach and all that, and that doesn't do it. It's super hard. It's better to call someone earlier because it's easier and cheaper to get rid of them than wait until like, oh, I've tried for the last year and I just couldn't get rid of them. I'll get them knocked down a little bit and they come right back. So that's what the issue is. People get them knocked back a little bit and I think they sleep okay, but then they build right back up and then never fully get rid of them. So it's very difficult.
So that was such an elegant answer.
So Jordan, here's how you solve that problem. Are you ready? You call RC Greene, Truly Nolen, here in the Fort Worth area, and you say, "Can I come? Would you come do a free home inspection for me?" And then you know whether you're going to need to be treated for that because it is more common than people think.
Yeah, it is.
And along with everything else, but peace of mind to know that you have a service agreement and it will be taken care of is the beauty of what they do.
And we're not going to have business. We got a warranties. We've been here since 1930.
You're not going to solve you're not going to solve it on your own. You're not.
Yeah.
I don't care what the bug is. You're not going to solve your pest control in your home by yourself. You can treat certain areas and kill something for a while, but you're not going to treat the home.
God, no, especially bed bugs, right? I mean, that's like that's the survivor of bugs, right? Like those.
We classify a couple of things as challenging pests. Bed bugs, German roaches are like what you see in restaurants or apartments.
They're
or
terrible.
Fleas and ticks. Those are what we consider the three challenging pests that are hard to get rid of.
Yep.
That you really got to stay on top of. We have a plan of how we do it. Like there's a whole process. It's so many days, different materials. Like we got a whole step by step. Instead of you going down there and buying the box and looking at it like, okay, I guess I'll just do this once. But we're coming out every 7 to 10 days and doing a different treatment plan for each of it. So it's a process that we figure out what works best, how to get rid of it for that too. Yeah.
So when does treating pest control become an outside service like snakes or something where it has to be removed? Is that animal control or do you guys do that also?
We won't come out and wrestle on snakes, no. But we will trap like live animals like raccoons and Albanian attic.
Right.
Armadillos outside and they're digging up, so like that, because it's considered wildlife. We take that somewhere else. But snakes, we don't. If you got a snake in your house, I'll come out and look at it for you and say, hey, that's a snake. that's not what we do.
Okay. So
okay.
So, but you guys can put snake bait in around perimeters, right?
Yeah,
like
we
especially
can
people live in rural areas with big backyards that bump into
Yes.
woods, things of that nature. Okay.
Yeah, we can do a snake program. Just it's a deterrent, and we start when we first come out. We start at your house, and we slowly each time push out farther and farther to make sure they stay out away from the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do a snake one like that too. Same thing, we do mosquito services too during mosquito season. These are all warmer weather kind of stuff. We Same thing, mosquito. We do a different program with that than most do. We use a pod, and we use the mosquito to spread the material around to keep them from breeding areas, which would be like stagnant water. They spread the material for us in those areas to keep mosquitoes from having a big population. Is how we do ours.
Yeah, so the reason I ask about the snake thing is because this time of year where you see a lot of copperheads and the snakes, these smaller snakes don't know how to control their venom. I would tell people with dogs to wear a lamp light if you let it out early in the morning in your backyard to do a little quick walk around, because snake can be anywhere, and it doesn't hurt to look at the ground. So or walking a dog or something. So I'm just telling people, I just didn't know if you treat. I know there's a barrier between when you got to call animal service, right, or you got to call but you guys can treat for that stuff, but you're not going to come pull them in a trap and take them off either.
No.
So, yeah.
We use glue trays in garages sometimes. We'll catch them on there because they'll get stuck to it.
Sure.
But here's another thing too. If you got a snake in your house, there's a reason that snake's in your house. Right. It's coming to your house because it's chasing food, and the food it's usually chasing is a mouse.
Right. Exactly.
That's why they're in your house. So it leads back to our first thing. You get the rats at your house, get the mice at your house. You won't have the snake in your house. I mean, the yard is a different story.
Keep the rats.
But when they call me and say there's a snake in their house, I'm like, well, it's coming after something else. It's not coming after your dog. It's coming after a food source.
Just put him out back. He's fine. He'll take care of it.
Okay. One last question I wanted to ask you before we go. Do you guys do give back programs? So do you guys have any charitable initiatives?
Yes, we are very. We try to give back to the community as we could. I mean, that's what it backs to why I started with working here. Truly Nolen's back as donated to my daughter's school there in Mansfield for field day. So we're coming out for that to do, their field day. In Mansfield, we did Haunt the Block. We gave out candy and all that stuff down there in downtown Mansfield. We're doing Hopping on April 5th in Mansfield down there. We're going to give out Easter eggs. And then also the arts and music festival behind that, I think, is that Saturday too. We're going to be there for that. We're doing a golf tournament on April 4th with Mission Mansfield. So that's a good charity too to do. So we're going to do a golf tournament with them. And also, come out and see us. We're going to have a booth set up, So yeah, we do try to, and I know our owner Scarlett, she does a thing every year for Cook's Children's for Halloween. We go down there and we bring pumpkins down there for the kids that can't leave. They can decorate, and
that's
then
awesome.
the ornaments like that. She sends that up there. So she always picks a hospital in one of the areas that we were at and sends it. But since Cook's is here for the children, we do it for that. So yeah, our company's always looking to give back too. Yeah, and I'm always open for events too. If someone has an event that in Mansfield area or even Arlington like that they're looking for a sponsor, we're happy to sponsor stuff that that we can, So we're always on the hunt for stuff like that too, to give back to the community too.
Awesome.
Because that's
cool.
If you give back to your community community takes care of you too. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. You always it's always give and take. You always want to make sure you take care of the people out there too that are supporting us as a company. So we always want to support back and do what we can for them.
I put your website up, RC, at the bottom of the deal for people to reach out to you guys. And I guess when they go to it, they can put in zip code or the area they live in, and it'll get distributed out correctly. So now you're in our Mansfield Network group. I will tell you that's how we met. And we've got a large group. And I'm encouraging all of y'all, if you have a home, go get set up with your free inspection, and then let them do the walkthrough, and then offer the quarterly plan. It's an awesome deal, and they're giving back charity. So you know what? It's a win-win. You're getting your pests taken care of, and you're contributing to local people that they help out. So we love that. So, Jordan, any final thoughts?
No, that's it. Now I'm thoroughly terrified, which I guess
You should be. That's the whole point.
Yeah. It's not
So
that bad.
Jordan will be calling as soon as we're done here. He'll be going,
You're
ring,
good.
ring. Hey,
I heard a noise.
RC, I heard a noise.
Yeah.
Hey, so thank you for being on, RC. We're going to ask you to stay on after we go off air for a few minutes, and there's a reason for that. We'll explain it when we're done. Also, we want to thank everybody for all the chatters. Thank you for people listening. Thank you for the thumbs up on the YouTube stream. And like I said, these are your local businesses that we're interviewing in Mansfield. So we've interviewed close to 42, 43. Everybody should be using these businesses for their home services and their commercial services. So the whole reason for the Mansfield Buzz is to get you guys to get a longer story from some of the people that we see every day. It does Gordon, a 30-second elevator pitch, right? Now we're getting to know him. We found out today he served our country. We found out he's a bartender. And we found out he's got a tarantula. So, where else can you find that but on the Mansfield Buzz, right? So, all right. So we got one more comment. I want to make sure. Let me click on it here before we go off air. It says, Sandra goes, "That's disgusting." What a great way to end the show. Jordan, I want to thank you very, very much. I want to thank you very much for getting into that part of it. The show was not disgusting. The bugs are disgusting. And this guy right here can take care of them. So, Hey, we'll see you guys next Thursday at 2:00. Next week is special because Jordan and I are going to be on the show. And here's what's going to happen. We have some new tools, and Jordan recommended that we look like idiots next week and try to figure out how to use these tools in a live broadcast without understanding how they work.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to come on air, and I'm just going to sit there and be really quiet and let Jordan go through and figure it all out so I don't look like a dumb butt. But that's beside the point. We're going to have some fun, and plus it'll catch up our audience what we're planning on doing. So you guys have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday at 2:00. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thanks for having me.